Hi, we're Richard and Jackie from Early Retirement Wanderlust.
As part of our 6-week road trip in our VW campervan, we have moved across the border from the Italian Dolomites and we are now in the beautiful sunny ski resorts of the Austrian Alps.
So it's a bit of a sad moment as we move towards the end of our 6-week road trip and we move into probably one of our final stop-offs, and we are in Austria at the moment. We hopped over the border using the Brenner Pass, and it's fair to say, I think on this trip we've done a lot of pass driving, and this was unlike any other mountain pass. It was pretty much motorway all the way up, but it was also massive amount of roadworks, and it was that chaotic at the top. We actually missed the border crossing in terms of getting any pictures of it, but there was a massive service station at the top.
Yeah, you have to get your Austrian vignette as you go over if you haven't already got one. Really easy to pick up. I think it was €11.50, which lasts us 10 days, I think. So that was pretty easy, and at least we could get that done straight away. But what really befuddled me is we bought this Austrian vignette and then they charged us another €11 because we were on a private motorway, one of the only private motorways in Austria apparently, but that's okay.
Yeah, so we headed down out of the mountains, and Austria was pretty much a new country to us, so we decided to stay pretty close to Innsbruck and not move too far and just have 24 hours to get the feel of the place and decide where we wanted to go next.
So we chose a campsite purely because it was a cheap campsite using our Axi card. We stayed at Camping Alpen. It's a family-run campsite. It's in a little village called Werr, and it was really pretty, and it was actually a really lovely campsite. We did not a lot while we were there. We just had a bit of R&R. They had a really nice pool and lots of wooden benches you could lounge around the pool. So we just had a really quiet afternoon. It was absolutely roasting.
Apart from the temperature, it felt pretty much like a UK campsite. It wasn't too big, and as Jackie said, yeah, it perfectly met our needs. We did a bit of an Aldi top-up, and it treated us to the most surprising sunset because we just went out to the edge of the campsite.
Yeah, the church that's probably about 300 or 400 metres away was just sort of lit up. It's white and the golden sunlight in the background. It was beautiful. I'll just let the photos talk for themselves.
So then the next part, we moved on quickly to camp in Tyrol at Fieberbrunn.
supposed to be raining today, and we decided we'd take a gamble anyway and go for a hike. I had seen a picture of a big building that's in the shape of a cross at the top of a mountain, and I decided that's where I wanted to go while we were here. So we got up early, we've got up there. It's about 700 metres of elevation climbing. It is roasting hot. What we would do for this lift that we're underneath now to be running at this moment. So after a great night at Camping Alpenmark, we moved on to the Fieberbrunn area to Camp Tyrol. We chose to stay there for 2 nights, and it gave us 3 really good days to get out and about doing things. So on the first day we did a really nice cycle into the local town, St. Johann. It was absolutely beautiful in the town, and although we were up in the mountains of the Alps, actually we cycled through quite a long valley, so we didn't get much elevation, which was good because it was really hot.
The campsite is actually based right next to quite a small little ski resort. So as you would expect in the summer, it was pretty much a building site, and there's a load of development going on. But the advantage of being in the ski resorts is that the recreational activities are endless. So as Jackie said, there was cycle routes all over the place to keep you away from the traffic, and we did a couple of cracking walks.
We did. Our first walk took us up a super little track. It took us to a mid-gondola station. There was a recreation lake up there. There was loads of really great kids' activities, all based around water sports and fun little games that they could play. There were no kids there, apart from me and Richard. We couldn't avoid having a go at them. And the views were pretty spectacular from round there, and you could see the valleys all around.
And then the second walk was a classic Jackie walk, a combination of something that she'd seen on Instagram and then looking up at a mountain peak and going, oh look, there's a cross up there, let's go up there. It sounded like a good idea, and then when Jackie sort of says, well, how far can it be? You can see it, it's just up there. You know it's going to be a good walk.
I don't know why he's voting. It wasn't more than about 10 kilometres walk. However, the 10 kilometres were like that. It was a really, really steep climb.
But then when we got to the top, it was amazing. And this incredible cross-like structure, still don't really know what it's about, but it was worth it in the end. And then we tested our mountain legs out, and we coped all right with the downhill and had a bit of a trot downhill. It was a good day out.
We were really lucky with Camping Tyrol. I'm not going to lie, we chose it because it was another ASCII special. It was supposed to be €25 a night. Once they'd added all their extras, it was €31. But the campsites in Austria are really expensive, and this one worked out brilliantly. The facilities were amazing. It's a winterized campsite. It's open for the ski season, and all of the toilet facilities and shower facilities were probably some of the best that we've ever come across.
Yeah, and the recreational facilities as well. So it had got an indoor and an outdoor pool, and it also prided itself on its eco-friendliness. So it also uniquely had a freshwater swimming lake, which I absolutely loved, and Jackie wasn't massively keen on that, were you?
I think it's only because there was lots of little bugs flying around it because we were there at sunset, but you had a couple of really good dips in there.
Yeah, it was a great experience and something that I never expected. Now, going back to the facilities, some people on YouTube have mentioned that I am perhaps a little bit overly obsessed about the facilities that campsites have. So as a little trial, what I'm going to do now is to cut the video and go straight to Rate My Facilities. As you would expect, I'm going to take a very scientific approach to the serious matter of Rate My Shower. I've come up with 10 criteria for judging campsite showers, and I'm going to give each criteria a mark out of 5, 5 being the best, 0 being rubbish, and that will give each campsite shower a total of 50 marks on how we judge them. So Camping Tyrol, in terms of space, it was absolutely cavernous in terms of the main shower block and also the shower cubicles. There was so many hanging hooks within the cubicles, they were spotlessly clean. The length and push of the shower, it was a really interesting one, never come across this before. It was an electronic sensor, so you did have to keep your hand over it, but the hot water kept coming and there was loads of hot water. The shower head was a rain head shower head, which was just obviously amazing. It was a really warm facility with loads of showers, so there was no queuing. There was lots of off the floor surfaces to store your stuff on, and the quality of the floor was absolutely spotless and the drainage was superb. So as you would expect from my quick review, Camping Tyrol scores 5 for all the criteria, making it the perfect 50 to start off Rate My Shower.
So after 2 fantastic nights at Camping Tyrol, we moved to our last destination in Austria in the very iconic ski resort of Mayrhofen.
So as you can see, we decided to treat ourselves in Mayrhofen to a rarity for us. We decided to get a lift up the mountains, not so that we didn't have to climb, but it meant that we were starting from a higher point and we could go even higher. It wasn't cheap and it was a little bit of a stinger, but it was well worthwhile because once we got out of the gondola, we felt like we were in the high mountains and we trekked all the way to the most amazing mountain hut.
We did, and this most amazing mountain hut had the most amazing pint of beer. It was so hot. Down in the valley when we got back that night, it still said it was 39 degrees, and I think it was probably in the mid to late 20s up at the top of the mountain as well. So it was a well-deserved pint, and we had some sort of bacony, potatoey Austrian dish, which was also pretty fab.
I'd liken it to an Austrian fry-up on the side of a mountain, which life doesn't get much better. Or maybe it does, because that night as well on the campsite was live music night at the bar and restaurant, which was pretty interesting.
Oh, it was a treat, but it was actually quite good fun to watch. Lots of Austrian type music. It kept going very loudly and very late.
It was great. And, you know, you might want to belittle umpar music as much as you want, but even grumpy me couldn't help but feel energised by it. So yeah, it was nice.
He was sat having his dinner by the camper van clapping.
The campsite, Camping Mayrhofen, was okay, but I think we probably expected more from a bit of an iconic location. Some of the facilities were a little bit dated, but it served our purpose as well, which gives me the ideal opportunity to just cut right now to rate my facilities. So, Camping Mayrhofen. As you can see, the facilities are newly refurbished and we're only going to judge the best shower blocks on the site, but the showers met the usual Austrian high standards. And it played a really strong hook game. There's no timer on the shower and it meant that you had constant hot water on demand. An interesting addition, which doesn't get any extra marks, was the presence of piped music, which was a pleasant surprise. So overall, a really good performance by Camping Mayrhofen. Strong marks on most of the areas, but a little bit let down by the size of the shower head, and then a combination of the lack of off-floor surfaces and the drainage, which the shower floor was pretty wet, meant that if you dropped something, it was going to get wet. So a few marks off there, but a really strong performance at 46 out of 50.
One thing that I really loved about Camping Mayrhofen, though, is that they had 4 little campsite goats and they were absolutely gorgeous and would sussed out when it was feeding time, so it was so cute.
So our time in Mayrhofen brought our Austrian adventure to a close and it's now time to start making our way home. There is a highlight on the way home. We are going to take in a new country of Liechtenstein, but in the next video we will see you on the road as we're heading north. See you later. Bye.
Bye.